let's talk about the job John Lynch has done this year. A lot of people are saying that Kyle Shanahan should be coach of the year. He's in the conversation. I just don't see how he can take that from Nick Sirianni, who's got one loss and developed that quarterback very quickly. On the other hand, I feel like John Lynch has a very good argument to be the executive of the year. Once again, I think his competition will be the dude in Philly, Howie Roseman. But move for move, I feel like Lynch comes out on top at least this year. I mean, Roseman traded for A.J. Brown. Niners traded for McCaffrey. So far, both trades looking like great trades so far.
Yeah.
But the difference is John Lynch drafted Brock Purdy this year. And that's like the draft pick of the century. And I think that's the trump card right there.
He's done a lot of great things, right? Signed Greenlaw when he was cheap, because if he's trying to sign him now, it'd be tough. Charvarius Ward, like you said, Gibson was a great pickup as well. And honestly, like Jimmy Garoppolo was a great signing, to be honest. Like I know we could have gone to Brock Purdy earlier and it would have been just as good, if not better. Who knows? But having that depth where you have Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, all for the price that they got him for, it's all tremendous.
Because also, if you had gone to Brock Purdy week 2 or week 3, he could be the one who's hurt right now. So, right. I mean, and that's another reason why I feel like no on Kyle for coach of the year. Man, you got to find a way to keep your quarterbacks healthy. And you can't just say that that's football or it's not my fault, because it happens every year. But that's not John Lynch's fault. Yeah. You could say it's his fault because Mike McGlinchey's the starting right tackle, which is fair. But it's not McGlinchey's fault that Trey Lance got hurt. It's Kyle's fault. It's not McGlinchey's fault that Jimmy got hurt. Well, okay. Still, I feel like Kyle bears more responsibility on this quarterback injury issue than Lynch does, and you got to give Lynch credit, for having at least 3 guys, maybe even 4. But this Purdy thing, dude, it's got to tip the scales in his favor, man. Mr. Irrelevant, and they may not lose a regular season game with him. I don't think anyone can match that.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And even before the season started, most people were saying that the 49ers have the strongest roster in the NFL, and that's directly John Lynch, right? You got to give John Lynch his credit for that. Just if you just look at the roster, strongest roster in the NFL, that's directly a result of John Lynch.
And again, so if people say that, this is why I don't understand the Kyle Shanahan thing. It's like most people agree it's the best roster or one of 2 in the league. Then how do you get over? How do you reconcile with the fact that their record is what it is? Like they have 4 losses. You could argue that other coaches might have 3 losses, 2 losses, 1 loss. Not that Kyle's bad, but he started slow, and now he's killing it right now, and he gets credit for that for sure. That's why I think he's in the conversation, even though he started slow. But other coaches didn't. Other coaches just took care of business the whole time. Like
I mean, I'll give Kyle gets some credit for building the roster with John Lynch.
That's true.
He does get some credit for,
but he doesn't get credit for that in the coach of the year.
Not in the coach of the year aspect. No, not in the coach of the year.
But he does just in terms of our hearts. He's that's why he's number 1 in our hearts, because we know he does a little bit more. Yeah.
For me, coach of the year should go to, and this is the only reason why I wouldn't say Kyle Shanahan's coach of the year, even though I don't attack me. He's done well, 3rd string quarterbacks, doing good. But the reason why, for me, when I think of coach of the year, it's the coach that does the most with the least.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. And who would that be for you this year?
Honestly, man, like depending on what happens these next 3 weeks, I said it when we talked last year. It was kind of a joke, but I was kind of serious. And you're gonna laugh at me right now again. But depending on what happens these next 3 weeks, Dan Campbell could be somebody that's a possibility for coach of the year. This guy might make the playoffs.
Yeah. And we're talking about giving the 49ers credit for finishing strong. Well, freaking Detroit's won 6 of 7. And the only game they lost in this stretch was a 3-point loss to Buffalo.
They got 3 winnable games coming up. They can make the playoffs with this roster.
That's a great call, man. That's a really good call. I think that's the right answer, actually. Mm-hmm. How many coaches could do more with the Lions than Dan Campbell has done this season?
I don't know.
And
maybe
Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, man. And
things were going good for Jeff Saturday until he had the worst loss ever
in the history.
Hey, it's like, hey, you wanted to be a head coach? Put this on your resume, bud. I love how football karma seems so real, man. Oh, you want to be a head coach?
Yeah.
Here, let's get your hopes up. Have a good start. Boom! Biggest loss ever. Own that. That's your legacy forever. And that's even, beyond like that goes on his legacy for his children. Their children's children is rough. It's rough.
And what sucks too is he took the biggest loss in NFL history on a Saturday, and his name's Jeff Saturday.
I'm telling you, man, the football gods have a sense of humor.